Guys, I got a little bit of a scratchy sore throat.
Oh no.
So we want to talk about intermediaries, I think, a little bit today. I'm getting feedback, Kristen.
Okay, let me turn.
Always find someone else to represent that tenant or buyer. So the first thing that I have for you guys, does anybody have any questions about intermediaries that they worked with? Questions of, how they should be run, paperwork that might be needed in a transaction? I can tell you examples, but if you guys have personal examples in transactions that you'd like to have some help with, I'd be happy to do that with you guys today. Does anybody have anything? Yes.
Can you go over again, Mary, for sale by owner who wants to represent themselves, what you want from us, what you want from them?
Oh, absolutely. That's a really good question. So that is not an intermediary.
I know, but
That
it kinda
is
leads into
represent a buyer to a for sale by owner seller. So when you first go to see that the seller, you've contacted them, whether it was a for sale by owner sign in their yard, wherever you found out they're selling it on their, you would bring with you when you ask for an appointment to show your buyer. You want to take the registration between broker and owner form, which is the TXR. I don't have the number in front of me, but I can get that for you. So between broker and owner, you want the seller to fill out the IABS form because they are participating in a real estate transaction where a broker is involved. So they need to know who they should contact if they have any issues. We also inform them about the wire fraud. So a wire fraud with you is also appropriate. And also the seller's disclosure notice. We want them to be sure to fill out that notice for our buyer. So those would be the additional documents that you would have in that transaction. Otherwise, it's the same documentation that you'll have for on the buyer side of the transaction. Lead paint addendum, addendum, those types of items can be filled out by the buyer and given to the seller at the time of placing the offer with the contract forms. So you don't have to worry about it at that point. But in the beginning, the seller's disclosure, registration between broker and owner, IABS and wire would take. Also be sure that you print the tax records for the buyer when you are showing that property to the buyer, since you won't have the multiple listings service. sheet to give them. You'll want to make sure that you print out the tax records in case there's any WCIDs, like the Upper Brushy Creek Water District or Clearwater notices or mud notices. You want to make sure that you cover the buyer with all of that information as well. So they'll want to see what the county tax records are showing as far as, square footage. You'll want to review that really well with that buyer.
Did
Does
that
that
help?
help in that part?
Yes, but can she hear me?
Yeah, she can hear you now.
Because sometimes you don't know, if you go to a seller that's not represented, you don't know whether they're gonna wanna represent themselves or if they will let you bring a party to represent them. So that's why I'm asking that leading into the intermediary, so.
Okay, so if you contact yet seller and you contact the seller and they say that they do want to have somebody represent them, they just don't have an agent, and you've been looking at houses, you represent that buyer, there's one of two things that you can do. You can make the decision to just help facilitate the transaction between the seller and buyer. And in that instance, you still want all those documents along with an unappointed intermediary form where you're not appointed to either side. So all the documents that I mentioned before, you'll still want. You just would add the intermediary document and mark as an unappointed intermediary between the parties. And usually when you do that, that is, a lot of times the seller just wants to pay you a flat fee. Or the seller and buyer negotiate that.
Wait, she has a
they
question,
want-
Mary. Hold on.
Okay.
When you say unappointed intermediary form, what are you talking about?
So there's an intermediary form, and there's two boxes you check. It's either with appointments or without appointments. There's differences in how you behave. It's just the intermediary form.
I've never seen it.
No, yeah, it's the intermediary form.
It's the it has two lines that it says this person represents the seller and this person represents the buyer.
Not in the contract.
Intermediary.
It's not it's an addendum to the contract if you're in an intermediary transaction.
And you guys, because intermediary is so highly, the legalities that happen with intermediaries, please get help. If you've never done one before, do not take this on by yourself without help.
So this is how I explained it yesterday to an agent, and I've been explaining this a lot, which is why we're bringing this up, is that there's two forms of intermediary on that form. There's with appointments and without appointments. With appointments means if you are going to represent the buyer and the for sale by owner decides to have representation and they call me, then I would be an intermediary with appointment to the seller and you would be intermediary with appointment to the buyer. We both prospectively represent the fiduciary responsibility to both parties separately. So I represent the seller and all of their interests, and you represent the buyer with all of their interests. What happens, what I see a lot of agents thinking and doing, is that you do intermediary without appointments, but you think that you're representing both parties. So let me kind of clarify. If you're an intermediary without appointments, it means that you are not necessarily appointed to represent either party. You are in the middle. So you basically are, for all sense, you're the glorified paper pusher. You sit everybody down at a table and you say, what is it that you want, or what is it that you want? They talk it out, or they give you what they want. And you cannot protect their best interests in terms of negotiation, because if the seller says, well, we're getting a divorce, and even though we could take 220, we're going to go back to 230. And then you represent in your brain the buyer, and you say, well, the seller said that they could take 220, but they're going to come back to you at 230, so maybe come at 225. You have now not only misrepresented both parties, you've gotten yourself into liability. So the best thing to do is to do intermediary with appointments Or non-intermediary, you're only representing one party and the other party is unrepresented. Or you're intermediary without appointments, meaning you do not negotiate for either behalf. You give them both factual data and you fill out the paperwork, which means they both see the market analysis. They both get to determine where they're coming from on price, but you can't say, seller, I think you should do this, and buyer, I think you should do this. You can't give advice separately. It has to be factual across the board. Does that make sense? So what I'm seeing people do is say, well, I'm intermediary and I represent both parties. So what I want you to think of is, how can I represent both parties' interests if I know information on both parties? How can you do that? Can anybody tell me how that's possible? You can't. So if you ask yourself that question, who am I representing? And the answer is the seller or the buyer, then that's who you represent. If it is, I have representations for both, then you need to tell both parties that you're going to treat them fairly by only giving them factual data, and you'd be an intermediary without appointments. You can no longer negotiate on their behalf. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And if you are listing your own lease, your own house, you cannot represent the buyer as well. You cannot do an intermediary without appointments. You can't do an intermediary. The only intermediary you can do is be the seller, agent, owner, and then one of you agents can bring a buyer. That's an intermediary with appointments.
Can the buyer represent themselves?
They can, if they understand that you can only give them factual data and you want to cover your hiney. It's best that they have representation. I
Yeah,
understand you
and
want to
Avis
save.
does not like those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand you
She
want to
doesn't
save
do that.
commission. Yeah, I understand you want to save commission, but in the end, it's going to cost you a whole lot more if you have to go to court. You know, you have some circumstances where people draw a hard line and they're a lawyer or whatever, and you just need to call us and have a conversation with Avis or Mary about it.
Yeah, because we can tell you, I mean, if you give for instance, you know, this could potentially be an intermediary, what would you recommend? We can tell you, here are your options. Here's what we prefer, and here what might be illegal. We can tell you up front. We would prefer that you do it this way, not do it this way, or we would prefer that you find another agent that you can refer to one side of or the other that can represent that person fully. So,
Well, Mary, just to take that one step further. So, Kim, let's say you and Jennifer, you had the seller and she brought the buyer. Not only would you do an intermediary form with that deal as an addendum and have everyone sign it before you execute the contract, so both buyer and seller understand that you guys are both from the same brokerage and what pros and cons there are to that, like sharing the inspection report immediately, those types of things. The second thing is, since you guys are both on the same team, on your intermediary form, you would want to say, we are both on, you know, the same team.
Okay, I know about that form where there's two agents already. I thought you guys were talking about some kind of different form where we're representing both the buyer and the seller, some kind of form I didn't know about.
Yeah, well, no, it's just that form because you're never really fully representing both parties.
Yeah, okay.
So we've got to change our language. Because you can't represent you can't be a fiduciary to two different people on the same transaction.
No.
So it's kind of like saying lease back. It's a temporary lease, not a lease back, right? So it's just kind of changing your mindset on how that works. And the best thing to do is, how am I best representing my client? And if they are both happen to be your clients with representation agreements, let's say your buyer loves your seller's listing, at that point you ask yourself, who am I best representing in this circumstance? And quite possibly the answer is, I'm choosing to stay, let's say, with the seller, and I'm going to say, hey buyer, before you see this property, please understand that I'm the listing agent, and my primary fiduciary responsibility is going to be to the seller. So if you want to purchase this property, I would suggest you hire new representation at this point. I'd be happy to refer you. Do you need some names? I know in your head you're like, but the commission, yeah, but the lawsuit. Just saying, right? Okay.
So I have a.
well, and there's, it's important that
Hold on.
and this
There
is
you go.
what,
Go ahead, say that again.
it's important that in the decision that you make, and what we help you in those decisions is that we're looking at what would cover you in a potential lawsuit with your E&O. We want E&O to cover you. And so we want to make sure that you're not making a mistake where E&O would not cover you in some kind of liability.
Laura?
I have a listing where the buyer chose not to be represented. So what I did in special provisions was just write, on the contract was just that buyer chooses not to be represented. And I didn't do anything else. I mean, it was some language like that.
Yeah, I would put that on the information about this form.
So on the IABS, you would have them write Keller Williams Realty Georgetown and whoever the listing agent is, if that's you, or even on the seller, if it's a for sale by owner, obviously that's in the broker to owner. But on the IABS, I understand that Keller Williams Georgetown and whoever you are as an agent does not represent me in this transaction. It doesn't need to be in special provisions.
But when it's a buyer, you don't have a broker to owner, right?
When it's a buyer, if you're
Yeah, buyer.
if you're bringing the buyer,
Well, she had a buyer that was unrepresented, so we wouldn't do a broker to owner.
no, it would be on the IABS.
Yeah.
Oops, it kicked you off. Sorry.
You still want to give them the information about brokerage services and wire fraud notice and have them sign that.
Okay,
Yeah,
And that's where they can write that information,
because on the
just to
broker,
notify us.
yeah, on the broker to owner, it actually there's check boxes and it says I have the agent represents the buyer, the seller, or both, and then that's where that. Well, here's the thing. I can give you all factual information. There's a chance. So a lot of agents don't want to have that conversation because they realize that the seller is probably not going to want to pay whatever commission you asked for you to do minimal work and not negotiate on their behalf. Right? So, but here's the thing. Are you doing what's right for you, or are you doing what's right for the people you're hired to work for? Right? So just making sure that if you're in that, just ask yourself that question, who am I representing? And if you're with a for sale by owner and they say, well, we'd love to have you represent us, then imagine what that conversation is going to be like with your buyers that possibly you've been working with for 3 months, trying to find something, you know everything about them, and now you're telling them, I can't actually negotiate for you. I can only take factual information. Yep.
Right, and here's another thing on the registration between broker and owner. You can designate, if you're representing the buyer and the buyer has offered to pay your commission, you're gonna wanna put that in that form as well. So the seller knows, you're not paying my commission, the buyer is.
Any questions on any of that? Any other questions y'all have for Mary? I think that's going to close us up for today, Mary.
Yay, see you guys.
All right, thank
Take
you.
care, stay
All right.
healthy.
All right, so Mary's always available to answer your calls if you have them. If you can't get a hold of Avis, you call Mary. If you can't get a hold of them, you're always welcome to call me. And if I don't know the answer, that's directly who I'm going to go back to. So, but I've been seeing this a lot. And I've been having to make calls to agents just to say, hey, there's going to be a hold harmless form in your loop. And I would recommend in future, just give me a call and ask. And then that way we can direct you so you're not having to sign a hold harmless or who else has got listings coming soon? All right, it's good to know, right?
So we have a condo coming up in a couple of weeks in Round Rock. It's, I don't remember the price. I think it's going to be $219-ish. Gorgeous, full of updates, really, really pretty. be in a gated area, and then,
What time is it again? Did we start early? Y'all are just, no. All right.
So that's not the 6:20.
No one else has any other compliance questions? Any weird stuff you want to talk about? Out for you sometimes? You get a timeout all the time? I saw a meme going around about the coronavirus, and it was about how, it's specifically about women, and how we need to have a timeout. We're highly susceptible, and that each of us should be sent away to the local winery for a couple hours. Or maybe it was 14 days. I would take 14 days is a long time, I guess, to be away from my kid. Here you go, Ryan. You could do this too. All right. Come on in. Come on in. We're about to take a time out, so have a seat. All right. So what I want y'all to do is kind of put your phones away and take a minute. Sit. I'm going to put a timer on the clock. And hold on, let me do this real quick and then we'll talk about it. So what I want y'all to do, and it might be hard for those of us who are antsy and got a lot of stuff going on, but this is you time. I want you to take 2 minutes and we're going to close our eyes and we're just going to be still for like 2 minutes. Okay? Go ahead and start. 2 minutes. No talking. Time out, right? If I'm putting my 6-year-old in time out, she can't talk. She gets in trouble. Okay. Before anybody says anything, I want you on your 3.5 by 5 card, or 3 by 5, whatever it is. Then maybe okay. And after you write it, I want you to rip it up. Just rip it up. And get rid of it. Get rid of it. I'll let it go.
Oh, that's what I hate. I know.
No one's going to see these things. They're going in the trash. You guys are getting rid of all this stuff, right? There we go. I like that. All right. We feel better already? Starting a day renewed? Okay, great. We're moving on. Thankful. Good and thankful. Moving on. I had a button. I don't know where I put it. Okay. It's all good. Oh, I put it over there. I went to dance class tonight. One of the women said they couldn't find their phone. They found it in the freezer. Has anybody done that? Talk about needing to get rid of some stress. I'm just saying. All right, so now we're going to laugh a little. I saw this meme and I thought it was pretty funny. Stop, I'm going to pee. I've been there before. All right. So the first one since this week, I don't know about y'all, but maybe one of the things someone wrote down is the fact that you lost an hour this week, right? So just a reminder, it's time to dust off the blackout curtains and spring forward into Operation Bedtime Trickery. Has anybody ever done that? Trick their kids to go to bed because it's lighter outside. And so at 9 o'clock, when normally my kids would be going to bed, well, my son I didn't have to worry about, but Lily, change without a share meme. Do you believe in light after 5? Spring forward to make your day more sunny. Share if you agree. Ah, that was funny.
Do they know who Sonny and Cher is?
I would think so. Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
Kind of like
I actually had probably 10 of these downloaded, and I thought I would save y'all from that. I only gave you one. You're welcome. You're welcome. Awesome. All right, so business building, a couple of things. So compliance update. We've got a lot going on compliance. I know that y'all have been getting emails. Have you been getting emails? Yeses? Yes? Yes? Have you been checking your emails? I see a whole lot of people who might need administrative assistance in the room to help you with emails. There you are. And commands, and one of the biggest ones I've been getting questions on is the email that went out about, go ahead and skip Donna on that. The email that, I might be short, actually. Well, I mean, I am short. I have boots on, and I'm still not tall enough. 1, 2, 3, there's 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. You don't get one. You might already know it. I'll get you one later. Okay. And if you need more of these, just let us know. We can email these to you. And I'm just going to hand this out if you'll pass this out. And I'm going to keep one, which means someone. When we had it at the association. Okay, so pretty good amount. Who is currently doing opportunities right now? Who is working their listings and buyers through opportunities? One, who else? Hands up high so I can see who's actually doing it. So, three-ish, right? Okay, so I've been getting a lot of calls and frantic texts and people coming in my office going, oh my gosh, I don't know how to use Command, and we're in Command as of March 1st. I don't know what I'm doing. Breathe. It's okay. You don't. So the first thing I gave you was a 4-page, 2-page back and front of how to get to DocuSign through Command. If you're going to do opportunities, this is your step-by-step. If this, then that. If this, then that. It's super easy. Walk through all the way. So how to use DocuSign, how to submit documents to the Market Center, and then how to request the disbursement authorization. It's literally all here in these nice flow charts. Yay! So if you want these for you or for your team, or you're going to practice them, just let me know. I can email them to you directly, and we'll also have them posted. I'll show you where in just a second. The second thing that you received is a back and front checklist. It's the listing checklist and the buyer's checklist. You didn't get it yet?
Oh, it's going back.
Oh, it's going around. Okay, so you'll get it. Maybe there might be a couple short. If there are, I'll get you copies. So the first one is the listing checklist. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. In opportunities, there are certain things you have to have, or you will not be able to move through the process of the flow chart. So it's not like Dotloop, had to think of the name. It's not like Dotloop where you can just submit a file and then find out that you forgot a page. No. Actually, there are certain things that you're required to submit so you can move forward in DocuSign to submit to Mary for compliance, which I love because it helps you get your processes in order. This is a great time if you guys are like, well, you know, I have processes. Okay, how strong are they? How are they doing? Is every deal that you're doing the same on the process side? From the seller, do you do the same thing in communication? Do you do the same thing in document uploading? Do you do the same thing in document submission? Do you do the same thing with buyers you're closing? As you move through that process, you're able to build a business quicker and more efficiently. You drop less things fall through the cracks. Your clients are happier, which equals repeat and referral business, which is what we're all looking for, right? So some of the stuff on the listing checklist, it shows you how completed you are. So at the very top, it says cultivate, okay, 5%, 7%, 10%. Scheduling, and it shows you each piece of the process all the way down to close. That means you're 100% complete. Do turn in checks into the office. 5, command upload 118 confirmation. Update addresses for sellers. Make sure you order your just sold postcards. How many of you is this going to be beneficial to remind you all the steps? Yes, I'm super excited. Okay, so mail thank you card to the selling agent. That's awesome. We love that. Discussion, permission to post the photos. How can you request testimonials? Do print final folder, front sheet, and archive the folder. Do remove your lockbox. Has anybody lost a lockbox because they forgot to remove it? A sign? Oh, I've lost a sign before for sure. Okay. It didn't take me too long to get out there, but man, they put it on the side of their house. Next day it was gone. So I don't know who needed a sign with my face on it, but someone's got a sign with Kristen's face on it somewhere. Than what dotloop's been able to provide for you. And even better, it's going to help you set your systems up so you have consistency across the board, both buyers and sellers, also with leases. Any questions on this in general, not in process? Because that would take us all team meeting. Okay. Any questions on the flow chart? Yes. Hold on, Shane, sorry.
DocuSign, if you already have a DocuSign account,
Mm-hmm.
are we gonna have to create a new one for Command?
Yes.
I had the same question.
Yes. If you already have DocuSign separately, yes, you will have to create a new one for Command. Or you can copy, you can still use your DocuSign account, but it's going to be a little bit of a pain because you're going to have to copy all those documents out and upload them into DocuSign again. No? Yeah? Oh, okay.
Right. I was thinking
Okay.
that-
Questions up here?
That is the hardest part, put it that way. Once you get past that, it's all smooth sailing.
Super. So DocuSign is what you're saying.
DocuSign and Command linked up?
Just that initial trying to figure out, is it a DocuSign thing or is it a command thing? Who do I talk to? Once you get that squared away, that's literally the hardest part.
Call DocuSign, it's easy.
Just knock it out.
Will they rebate me? Or would I, because I do a deal on yearly basis?
They'll help you.
I would just call them.
Because
Yeah.
they're from- Yeah, I called them.
You did. Were they able to merge yours or no?
I kept my old one on a free account
Okay.
and then started the new.
Oh, wonderful.
Done. Shane's like, yes.
That's what I wanted to hear.
All right. More questions? Did that answer your?
Just a,
Sure.
no, just a general.
Okay.
What I have struggled with, because coming in as a newbie, I was ready to go straight command,
Uh-huh.
but what I was having a hard time with is finding just copies of forms
Okay.
in command.
Well, that's because they're in DocuSign. So you have to be able to get into Yes, all of the forms live in DocuSign, and this is going to help you out a ton. All of the.
DocuSign account set up, I just didn't realize.
Perfect. Yes, they all live in DocuSign. So what happens is, as you create an opportunity, the documents are you pull them in through DocuSign into opportunities and move them through the process. So they live in DocuSign and then are placed through the process in Command, which is why the flow chart's so important, because there are a few steps to get there. But I'm telling you, once you get to that part of the process, it's pretty easy from there. So. And I love the fact that you can't really miss a box because it calls them out to you. So, for all of those who miss the FERPTA, I think it's like in the last page of the listing agreement, and people always are forgetting to ask their seller if they are or not a foreign person defined by IRS guidelines. And that box is almost never checked, right? So now you can't miss that box. Why? Because DocuSign will highlight it so you know to check or not to check the box. Any questions? Those are great questions. Any other questions on the process? So, or on the generalized. So if you have specific questions about this or the checklist, finding documents, Mary right now is 100% your go-to. Text her and say, hey, I have a question. Okay, one thing I want to set an expectation of is your urgency is not our fire. And I mean that lightly with all of my heart. Do not wait to the last minute to figure this out. If you want to process a deal, process it through dotloop and learn DocuSign and opportunities, because we want to meet your need, and it puts us at a disadvantage if you wait until the last second and you call me 5 times while I'm in the team meeting and I can't answer your question. And I want to, and I can't. So your urgency is important to you, and I understand that. And the best way for us to help you is to prepare for that before it becomes an urgency. Fair? Shane?
Would it mess anything up if we did one in dot loop and then did it in command also, just kind of as practice, or would that mess something up?
Go ahead.
You would need to, the only thing it would mess up is DA wise. I would let Mary know which one you want reviewed, because right now, myself, Lauren, and Mary, we're working in 4 systems. We're working in command, opportunities, green sheets, and dot loop right now. So just let us know which one, so we don't double approve it in both places, and then you do a green sheet and a commission, and then we have 2 DAs, and then I've got to terminate a DA.
Yeah, I
So just,
wouldn't do that. I wouldn't let
Or
it
you
go
could
that
just
far.
pay us twice.
That's what I was thinking.
or you pay me twice.
You pay me twice.
Or and then profit share goes.
Perfect, it won't be good. You can do it both ways, that's fine. Just let us know which one, would probably lean more during like the opportunity side, so that we could put the DA in there, and then it will help your stats, your own personal stats, and grow that way. But you can do it both ways, just, I would do it simultaneously, so, and then everything's all in one, so you're not like, oh, half sync opportunities, half sync dollars, then we're not right.
Best thing is, when in doubt, reach out. Give us enough time. Don't be like, Mary, I'm thinking of practicing in dot loop and in command. I'd like to go ahead and do the process in dot loop and then practice in command. Please do the process in dot loop. If we have that in writing, we know exactly how to kind of focus on your specific need. We had how many transactions last month?
I closed out about 170,
170 deals. 170 deals. So
excluding leases.
excluding leases. So when I say that your urgency, yes, we know how important it is and we want to get to it. But again, we're just setting you up for success by saying, don't wait till the last minute. Just let us know ahead of time, and we'd be happy to set up a meeting with you. If you need to go through opportunities, you need to be walked through the step-by-step. If your whole team needs to be walked through, just set a meeting with us, and I'd be happy to help. Lauren knows the process. And then, of course, Mary, we can always Zoom her or FaceTime her. But Zoom won't get it. Mary, Zoom her, Zoom won't. Okay, just kidding. So just trying to get you all to laugh. The energy's low. So anyways, I just wanted to say that because we are getting a lot of calls right now, and we're processing them and working through them. But again, if we have a little bit of a runway, we can make sure you get to the finish line on time. Yes?
I have in Round Rock meeting, Mary talked about if you wanted to start in zip form, you could start in zip form and then upload into command. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it better, worse to do that versus find your form in command?
I would just find your form in
DocuSign.
DocuSign. You know, I think the process is, it's better once you learn it from start to finish in command. Once you start having to go in one system, download, upload, then sometimes there's things that are missed, there's documents that are missed, it's going to cause you more time on the back end. So I would develop a process, you know, rough it with the first 2 deals, right? Just give yourself enough time to know it's going to be a little bit of a, you know, traverse terrain, right? Like it's going to be a little rough the first couple of deals. And then, you know, in the end, what's going to happen is you're going to learn the process fairly smoothly and you're not going to have any more issues. You can do that. It's just, it takes a little extra work.
But then zip form would because your account is zip form, it would always have your stuff in zip form too. So it'd be like a secondary.
If you would like to add that step, absolutely you can. It is an additional step that's not necessary. I mean, here's the thing. You should be keeping an extra file on your computer anyways. So I cloud all my stuff. I cloud storage stuff. So any of my old buyers and sellers, they all have a file computer separate from everything KW does, because in the event that something happens to me or that I am no longer with KW, which is never my intention, then I have those files to me. The other thing that you've probably gotten emails about, to change the subject a little bit, is on the activity log. Has anyone gotten that email and gone, what? Okay, if you haven't gotten that email, go back and read your email. There is an email in there that says, hey, this is how we need you to copy your activity log. Ryan, am I correct in saying that now Command does keep its own activity log to a certain degree? So yay, that's awesome. That is one of the most important things for Avis, so you understand. And the reason why that email went out is because we need to know how to be able to protect you. And if for some reason, I know that's never anyone's intention, that if for some reason a lawsuit were to come up, that activity log helps us to see what happened in your file, which is extra protection, or maybe not, for you, right? So we need that activity log recorded. There was an email that went out about it. I will have it resent and also posted on the Facebook site on the instructions on how to save your activity log and download it for our records. Any questions on that? Y'all are taking this like champs. It's good. So, Joseph, you're using Command. Can I pick on you for a minute? So, I mean, what are you thinking of the process as opposed to dot loop and kind of the hit and miss of actually getting things through the process?
I think the best way that I've been able to explain it to people is when you see that question on Facebook that says, I'm thinking about switching from Android to iPhone, what do y'all think? And you get like 1,000 people comment.
Mm-hmm.
And it just comes down to it's a different interface.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what it felt like. Within 90 days, I didn't know how to do the old system anymore.
Awesome.
It's pretty seamless.
Love it.
So I look at DocuSign as that's my document prep, and I look at Command opportunities as this is where everything goes now.
Right. That's where the submission happens. And the beautiful part of it is that it works on with your smart plans and with your contacts. So basically what happens is you have your contact on a 36 touch, right? You've called them 4 times a year. You've written them handwritten notes. You've sent out emails through Command. You've texted them through Command. All of their activity on their consumer app is saved. All of a sudden they go under contract. It's all auto-populated based on that information. You go through the entire process, you close the deal, you put them on a smart plan for someone that just bought their house, and they're going to get another 36 touch plan for a past client, and then you're going to go through the process again, but the next time it's going to earn you a referral. That is what Command looks like. It is from start to finish, and hopefully never finish, right? It's from start to finish and again, and again, and again. Consistency and mining your database. Who needs referral business? Nobody needs it. Who wants referral business? All right. All right. So that's super important to make sure that you at least learn that piece. And it's okay if you're moving a little bit slower at it. It's okay. Take your time. We're here to help you. So just let us know. You can set up a one-on-one. Like I said, we can Zoom Marion. Just let us know. Any other questions around these 3 things or the activity log? Okay. So I'm going to move to the next piece of that, which is kind of what Ryan brought up about commissions. So commissions is a process, and reason being because really we understand the process and what needs to happen. It's really just introducing it to y'all. Has anybody used commissions yet? Okay, Ryan, how many people do we have using commissions currently? Do you know?
Carrie Crystal team, so Carrie, Mick, and Joseph.
Okay.
Use it for every single one of their deals.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal. I really like it. It's been Lauren and I learning how to do it as we've been doing it with Joseph and Nick and Carrie. The one thing is that if you are a team member, it will show your personal cap. So in this specific office, we don't pay team members. So when you're looking at, oh, well, my team's capped, this is only showing your personal cap. It will never show the Rainmaker's cap because you're not the Rainmaker. We don't close transactions under your name. So just be a little bit mindful in that. And if it says it's the same thing as green sheets, people are like, oh, well, it doesn't say I'm at 100%. We'll catch it on our end. That's where we keep it all, so don't worry about it. If it says that you're at a split, but your team's really at 100%, don't worry about it. We catch it. We'll get it right on our end. But it's pretty cool. And like as we review the commission, like Joseph was getting notifications through Kelly. Your your MCA has just pulled your commission and is creating the DA. Like that's pretty awesome. I don't love that, but that's pretty cool. I don't like y'all knowing that I'm doing it, but it is really cool that you guys get live
I was
action.
standing next to her desk, and as she clicked it, I got a notification. I was like, people are gonna know exactly when you're working.
Yeah.
So you know I am working.
The beauty and the beast of it. Awesome. It actually is a very, very, very simple process. So here's what I'm going to tell you, and here's what Lauren and Ryan have requested. So first I will tell you that they're putting together some classes to take on how to move into commissions. If you're going to do opportunities, you need to be doing commissions. Now, you can practice in opportunities. If you want to do commissions, what I need for you to do is CC Ryan, Lauren, and Mary. Just an email. Hey, it's Jennifer. I'm going to start doing commissions. So that way they know to start looking for that, and they don't go looking for your stuff in green sheets. It just helps them streamline their process. So a quick email. So be on the lookout. Lauren is out enjoying Disney World with her, grandson. And I'm waiting for pictures. I haven't been on Facebook if there's been any posted so I can live vicariously through them. But we're super excited for them to be there. When she gets back, then it's spring break for the other half of the team. And then we're going to start doing some of these classes. So if you are eager to get involved a little sooner than that, just shoot them an email or CC me on it, and we'll make sure you get your training. It's actually a very easy process. But you also need to understand opportunities, because really it's an entire process. Any question on commissions? Any other comments, Ryan? Nope. Okay. Anything else? All right, so if you're not sure what to do, where to go, Facebook, groups, KW/KW Compliance. Mary has a Facebook page. Excuse me. Mary has a Facebook page, and if you have compliance questions that you want answered ASAP, you can post them here. Now, again, this is why don't wait till you're in urgency and post it here, because she's 2 hours behind us, and who's going to see it? I don't know. I'm not typically on Facebook. So I'm going to start coughing now because I'm thinking about coughing. But if you have big questions, there's other agents. Let's say Joseph, if he's on Facebook, he can answer a quick question about something. Anybody that's gone through the process will answer it for you. So go here. And chances are, if you have the question, somebody else has the question. So this is actually helpful for the entire office. You can take out your Facebook or your phone and go to Facebook and see if you're a member of the group. It wouldn't hurt. We would love for you to do that. We have admins in the room that will approve you right now if you join. So don't be shy. We would love to have you in there. Okay. Any questions on that? All right, so take out your phone. We're going to work on your consumer app. Who does not or has not shared the consumer app yet? Raise your hand. Don't be shy.
I can't get it on my phone.
Okay, we're about to. We're about to.
I tried
We're about
to share
to.
it.
I got you covered. I got your back.
You read my mind.
I know. Okay. Now, if it doesn't work through this, we'll talk after. All right? Okay. So take out your phones and get ready, because we are going to... Marty?
Oh, and just to plug on Marty, if it is Marty, if it's not, this is still about Marty. On April 24th, I just confirmed his date from 9 to a little bit before 12, so we can get out in time before Megan's Farm and Ranch class. Marty's coming. He's a regional tech guy, and he's going to do okay, perfect. And we'll talk. But yeah, that's another good class to go to.
Did you say you've got lunch coming? For my class.
Okay, then we'll.
Our new KW app. And the confusion is when agents download the app to their phone, and they attempt to go log in, for some reason they're being rejected. They're saying that that username and password isn't working or is invalid. In down here, okay? I'm gonna sign up actually with the blue button. Testing at gmail.com, and then I will create.
Okay, is everyone at that point?
No, I'm downloading the app.
Okay, download the app.
How do you get to
App. There. Now remember, when he's logging in as if he is a client. You're not logging in as if you're an agent. You're logging in as if you are a client.
That's what was confusing.
That's why it's confused. Yes, you're setting it up as if you're a client.
Hey, Kristen,
Yes.
is there ever be a time where we'll be able to see all the agent information, like showing instructions and who the other agent is, and their phone number and all that?
You should come to an MLS committee meeting because that's where those answers would be had. At an MLS, that's who controls that right now.
Really?
The brokers should, but the MLS is due right now.
So right now.
But you can get it,
we're in.
that's not right, because you can get, not showing instructions, but you can get agent information on Realtor.com, for example, but you can't get it on KW.
Right, well, it's an MLS thing. It depends on how the information is syndicated.
But it's syndicated to some, but not others.
Correct, right. So there's some broker allowances as to what's syndicated, but each platform has its own. But what she's saying is, okay, so for instance, you could be a member at CTX MLS and have showing time as a showing service, but you could also be a member of Actress, which is Austin's MLS, and have CSS or showing time. So it's an MLS directed platform for showing services. So if you want that, and if you want everyone to use the same one, you have to show up and talk to your MLS. Because until everyone is using the same platform, huh?
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I just want all the agent information without having to log into MLS.
Like name and phone
Well,
number.
okay, it is, typically you can find it anywhere, and you can use that, the app.
You have to log into the MLS to find all of it.
So there's, with
Well-
Actress, there's Go MLS.
Yeah, I mean, I use my Go MLS app, and
It doesn't have all the information. I
They
have
have a
that too.
directory. I find
Huh.
everything.
well, all I can,
Information that's on the agent page when you log into the MLS. When I'm out in the field, I have to log into the MLS. Exactly.
Yeah, the mobile version does not have,
well, this has the agent information on my mobile app.
on the,
Not for the listing.
This is the listing agent. I'm on my MLS app.
I have one too.
Okay, and you're not getting
It
this?
doesn't have showing instructions.
yeah, the showing instructions is what I get.
I'm with
So which app is that?
Are you guys not, okay, hold on, we're going to KW, I'll answer that stuff in a minute. Because that's an MLS question. I know that what you want is on the KW app, right? Is that what I'm hearing? You'd like,
No, it's not. Oh, yes.
you
right.
want it on the KW app, okay. So, over time, as things happen, yeah, there are certain information that's given to you as an agent, and typically it's given to you through your MLS. And so the challenge with that is how the permissions are given from the broker to the MLS. Now we're asking for permissions to go from the broker to the MLS to back to a company, which for us would be Keller Williams or .com or Zillow or whatever Joe Schmo brokerage who has their own app, is what you're saying. And so the communication between the MLS, from the broker to the MLS to like KWLS, is getting there, but the systems for it are blocked by the entities that are the MLS. Does that make sense? Yes.
Also, I think it's important to remember that this is the consumer app.
Correct.
Not the agent app.
Correct.
There is no agent KW.
There is no KW agent app. No. No.
This, we
And
don't
you-
really want our clients to look at
Right.
other agents' pictures when they're on MLS and stuff like that. And so I'm okay with the trade-off of not getting that information on the app.
But I have it on my MLS app, and I can get showing instructions. The only thing is, if the listing agent didn't properly press a button for showing instructions, you can't schedule a showing through CSS or Showing Time on the app. But it tells me, like this one says, showing information, go see remarks. If it were to say showing service, there would be a phone number for me to call, and I'd call the showing service and set up an appointment.
Is that CTX app?
CTX has the same, should be the same app.
Go MLS, right?
Yeah, it's Go MLS. And this one's like Go MLS Austin, and then Go CTX MLS. Give me a second, all right. Is everyone else logged into this one so I can play the video? Okay.
Yes.
All right, and remember, he's going to tell you to use a different email. Don't use your KW email, use a different one, because you're just logging in.
As a consumer.
It's okay, log back out and log in with, you can use your KW email, but you're logging in as a consumer. So use your junk mail or something else, because you're wanting to see what they see. Okay?
A
You got this.
password.
It's all good.
So I'm doing this as an the consumer, in this case, the agent as the consumer.
Well, you've already gotten there. What's not easy?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, it seems to me that you do. You have it.
That's cool.
You've got it.
I didn't know that.
Okay, so now he's going to go into the process of sharing it. So, so you should have your agent profile, and this is what he has on here, agent profile. If you click under your name, there's an agent profile. That's you. If you don't like the stuff that's on there, you have to go change it in Command. I'm not going to show you how to do that today because we still got a few more things to do. But I can, and the way to change it is in Command. So has everyone got their profile? Okay, so now what he So he added himself as an agent.
Okay, I got this one.
Okay. Okay, it's thinking. You can do it.
We're all online.
It's giving you just a few extra seconds. Just
Want
It
to
didn't say
go
what his
into
said.
your agent's profile,
Yes, it
click
did. You
agent
fixed it.
profile. You can also
Yeah, you're
refer
already
your
there.
agent. So if you
I-
click
I-
refer
I
and you want to
clicked- I
catch
clicked
that
on
link,
Hold on,
then they're
listen,
going to get
watch.
And I'm
this
not in
page
there.
on their
I did
phone.
that.
And when they click work with Nick Baldwin, they're going to
I'm
get
not in there.
a prompt to actually sign
Oh,
up.
it's
Now
very
this will
subtle.
sign them up
Well, it's not
for
your
your
listing.
website.
So it's just at the bottom on how to contact you. So if they could do this,
So
thought
it's
and they
really
say
your
ask your
decision.
agent, it's going to email directly to you.
Which avenue you want to
So-
take. I think the sharing the app button.
It's not you?
Yes,
Did you change the password?
Send it to my
I've
brother
tried 5 different
as
ones.
a test.
Okay.
Did you already have it on your phone? Like, I had a problem and I had to delete it and reinstall the app.
So that's what I was
Did you
told.
just
Did you already have it on your
I
phone?
updated it.
Okay, delete it and reinstall it, and then I'll walk you through. Anybody else having that same
So
problem?
what I was told is to delete it and uninstall it, and don't use your Keller Williams email.
Right.
Like, use your home email and install it like first name and last name test or last name consumer or something like that. And when you do it, it will show up and you'll get a Kelly notification that you've installed it.
Is it
And
trust?
like Shane 123 test or
Mhm.
whatever.
If you use your real name, it tries to remember.
Shane, it'll be white with the KW in it. We figured
Okay,
it,
I
we
just
found
sent
this
to my
out
brother
at the reunion.
and told him to,
Because we
because
were
I
trying to
logged
do
in.
it,
And I
and
said,
Yes.
we
And
had
and
the
it'll
old one.
automatically add him to your command.
Okay.
Yep.
He said, I'm testing my new app. He goes, okay, I'll log in.
Okay.
And you can also,
Shane can create a file.
all right, back up here.
But ask him to do it just to play with it.
Back up here. I would suggest all day today, texting it to people, post it on your Facebook page. Hey, check out my app. However you want to advertise it, now it's yours. Get it out there because, again, like these ladies were talking up here, as soon as someone downloads it, if they're not already in your command, they will be in your command because they're signing in with their contact information, okay? It's a great way, one, to get contacts in command if you've been delaying on that process, and two, start to get your app out because it is functional and it will notify you as they do their searches. So yay, it's exciting, and now you're all in. Except for Shane, just get with me if you have any trouble.
I think I got it.
Okay, so check it out, the March calendar coming up. Today is the 10th of March. Tomorrow morning, group coaching and accountability. The 12th is Bell County. If you haven't been to a meeting up north, come join us. It's a fun time. You'll get to see some agents that maybe you haven't seen before and build some new relationships. Friday the 13th, how to review your title commitment from 10 to if you don't know to look for them, you'll miss them and potentially find yourself in some liabilities. So take this class. It's an hour long. High D, so you just want to get in here, learn something really cool, and get out. This is a great class for you. Next week, we have Rising Stars, Command Central. Big round of applause real quick for Scott Stout, who finished Never Ending Referrals with a great group of people. Yay! How'd it go?
Went great.
I didn't prepare you for that. So I just saw it on the calendar and said, wow, it's done already. And that was how many sessions?
It was 8 sessions.
8 weeks. With 1 skipped, right, because we had a holiday in there.
Right.
2, maybe, because we had family reunion as well.
There's a lot of great content in there. I mean, it's a lot of the things we see in bold and the training that we do here. We started with 20. We ended with 3.
Okay.
So,
I
mean, I know a lot of folks here have either done that or you've gotten pieces of it, but take that information and apply it.
Apply it.
It's a treasure chest, whether we decide to open it or not.
Yeah. Thank you, and thank you for teaching. Yep.
Appreciate that.
And then the 17th, property tour in the morning. Make sure to get your properties in early to Donna. ALC meeting is from 10:30 to noon that day. So if you haven't attended an ALC meeting, want to see what one looks like, you're welcome to attend. It's here in this room. In lieu of the team meeting, yes.
The last 2 weeks, we've not had a tour. Nobody has sent me any houses to tour. So
Okay.
I send out the email on Monday and ask for it, and I just don't know if people are aware that we're still doing the tour on Tuesday mornings or not. But
Cool. We're doing tour 9 to 10:30 Tuesday mornings. If you want to do a broker tour, if that's one of the pieces on your marketing plan, I'm sure you're sticking to it and getting your properties in, right? Thank you. 18th is orientation with Lauren. 19th is new associate tech setup. So that's only if you've never had like command setup, dot loop setup. It's really for brand new agents who are getting their tech set up. And then we have some boot camps on the schedule, and we have a couple other things we're going to talk about here in just a second, like right now. So the first thing we're going to talk about is real estate career night. Do we have a thing for that?
Yes, well, I have.
You have one? That's okay.
This is the first one. We have a
Okay,
second
well,
one
come
that's
talk
better.
about it. You want to come talk about career night?
Sure, if you want me to.
Yeah,
If you're tired
why
of
not?
talking. We
They're
are
tired
going
of
to start
hearing
having a monthly career night here, and it's not just for new agents, it's for you guys as well. Bring anybody that's thinking about wanting to join real estate, joining Keller Williams. Bring your recruits with you. It's not an agent-driven, it's a market center-driven event. We're going to start doing it monthly, so you know it's going to be the third Thursday every month, except for this month because of spring break. We're going to have barbecue. We're going to talk about real estate. We're talking about Keller Williams, what Keller Williams is all about, on culture, and it's going to be a general review, and then we're going to talk about splits and fees. I did a flyer up and sent to all the real estate schools today, getting new agents to come here, but it's not just for new agents, it's for people thinking about it. It's for you guys to bring them here, so that way you can be part of it, because this is all about profit share for you. And you don't want to send your person here, because if you do, they might get lost in the shuffle. When you do profit share and you recruit people, you want to be there every step of the way to make sure you're the reason why they join our office, or our Keller Williams in general. So anyway, we're starting it brand new. It's going to be the 25th at 6 p.m. It's going to be in this room, and we're having barbecue and tea, and still beer.
Yeah.
How's that?
Perfect. And if you can attend with them, but you have people coming, just shoot me an email, and I can make sure we know who's coming on your behalf and introduce ourselves and let them know you let us know that they were coming. Any questions on barbecue and career night? Yes?
25th or 24th?
I have it on the 24th. Hold on.
I have it on the 25th.
Let me go back. So next is Bold. It starts on the 26th. That's step 1. How many people are registered for step 1? Okay. How many people are registered for Full Bold? All right. Nice. This is like the side to be sitting on right here. I'm just saying. We'll see. We'll watch production. No, just kidding. How many people are wanting to sign up for Full Bold but have not done so yet, just are waiting for a reason to do so? How many people just don't want me to ask you to sign up for? No, don't raise your hands. We'll be making some calls. It's really a great opportunity, y'all, to be in the room with some high-minded individuals who are motivating and doing business at a high level. With 3 market centers, we have Round Rock, ourselves, Georgetown, and Northwest, and then maybe Cedar Park is going to join in as well. So you'll get to maybe see some agents, 1 that you've never met or 2 old friends. And it's great to be motivated and see what other people doing well in their businesses. They might be using tech at a higher level. They might have a process that would benefit you to know about. It's worth the money. You got to get over the price tag because it's absolutely worth the money. If the money is the only thing keeping you from it, come have a conversation with me because it's worth it, and I can give you a million different ways as a business owner to wrap your brain around spending $799 to increase your business way more than that with 1 transaction. Okay, any questions on Bold? All right, Red Day, Julie.
This is what I was actually supposed to talk about today. I'm on the committee of Red Day. We want you to mark your calendars. My flyer does, is this Red Day calendar? Yeah.
Yep.
It does match. It's May 14th. How many of you know what Red Day is all about? It's part of our cultural Carol Williams. It started that the agents wanted to give Mo a birthday gift, so they decided each year give back to the community where we work. They created Red Day. It's for renew, energize, and donate. As a committee, we've gotten several different ideas that we have created. We're checking into to see if we're able to do it. We're going to have a breakfast sponsor. We're going to have a lunch sponsor. We're going to know more information on Tuesday the 31st, and that is going to start our countdown to Red Day. We want as many people to participate as always, because at Keller Williams, we're not takers. We don't take. We also want to give back and get involved with the community. And how's that do, Kathy?
Yeah.
She's on my committee too.
I'm just thinking that, you know, it's so easy to let other things, and I've been guilty of it myself, get in the way on that day. So we wanted to get out ahead of it and have y'all go ahead and mark that day off. We are looking for we're looking into a couple significant, I feel like we can really get our hands dirty and do something significant in the community. We're looking at a couple different ideas. So mark your calendar. We've got something fun we hope to have come through too. So when we're done, we have a little bit of a celebration.
So mark your calendar for May 14th.
And we'll have t-shirts, and we're going to every week be talking a little bit about Red Day to give you some more information about what it is and why you want to get involved. We've even had agents bring their clients out, and their clients have gotten involved. We give them a shirt, and they feel like they're giving back. It's a really cool experience to see that happen. So, and then I wanted to mention real quick, we had committee meetings last Friday, and they were awesome. And I'm super excited about how passionate you guys are in getting involved and really wanting to have your 2 cents and building the market center that you want. Now is a great time. If you weren't able to attend last Friday, no biggie. Just let us know which committees you want to be involved in. We need you. I don't care whether you're here or you're in Bell County or you're in between. If you can't make the committee meeting, I can give you the name of the chair or chairs, and we could use your support and your input. So if you'd like to see something in the Market Center, or you want to improve upon something, or you just want to add your voice, we need you. So just let us know, and we'd be happy to make sure you get on. Kim.
Can I say 2 words?
Yes.
Kim Sanders, and I co-chair the Culture Committee, and it's the funnest committee.
I don't know, finance is pretty fun.
And we would love to have you. And our next event, you'll watch for something in print, will be at Red Poppy Festival. We'll open the parking lot and have our own little band, kind of like it's a little South by. And we'll have beer and wine and fun, chips and dips.
And the band is booked.
Band is booked. Awesome. So there's a lot of ways, and if events if events are your things, it's definitely a happening committee. We also have career development, whose focus is really getting into what Keller Williams International is doing and getting involved in their trainings and education, high-level masterminding. We have the growth committee, so their focus this year is going to be to grow your overall volume production. I mean, so we have a lot of agents that are pouring into you. So come step on a committee and get involved. Anyways, that's my push. Okay, so who's got a listing? Who's got a listing? Coming soon, Megan.
We just put it on the market. It's a 6-acre lot in Briggs, gated rain check community, super low taxes, site built only. It has electricity available, $127,000 for the 6 acres. It's currently under ag valuation.
Awesome.
Can I throw in a
Yeah.
Okay. We've got one coming soon, Sage Creek. New Carruthers built home. We will have it finishing in the next probably 60 days or so. 4 bedrooms on 1 acre, 3-car garage, 3242 square feet, listed at $629, and it's in the Liberty Hill School District section.
Awesome.
3.
All right. Who else? Any coming soon? New listings? Something just hit the market this week? Anyone have a listing that they need held open by one of our awesome agents? If you do, you do?
I always have listings. Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. I'll send people your way. Buyer needs. Yeah. Go for it. Don't apologize for having listings. Shout them out.
I think I mentioned this last week, but do want to make sure people in here hear it since it will not be on the MLS for a few weeks. You are able to see it right now. We do have a limited exposure listing. They're trying to get all moved out and get things going. This is going to be a Sun City Cortez plan on a green belt, and it does need cosmetic work and has an original roof. So we're looking at $339.
Awesome.
It's in neighborhood 13.
Thank you. Anybody have buyer needs? Chris?
4-car minimum garage, 3,500 or so square feet, maybe more. A pool near Liberty Hill.
Okay.
Short of $1 million.
Okay.
Let's talk.
Awesome. Anybody else have some buyer needs? Some unicorns out there? Something you can't find? I hear the market's moving, and with us closing 171 deals last month, it's not going to slow down. So if you do have buyers out there, make sure you reach out to the Market Center, post some stuff on Facebook. Try to use other means. And this is why it's important to have agents tagged in your database. So that way you can email those agents that are tagged in your database to say, hey, do you have a 3,500 square foot home under $1 million that can home 4 cars and has a pool, right? Awesome. Any price improvements? Yes, ma'am.
Mine in Pflugerville is going down to 410.
410?
5.
Okay.
It's 3343 square feet in Avalon.
Okay.
2-car, 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 2-story, on almost a fifth of an acre.
Okay. Very nice. Thank you. Megan?
It's going the other way. It's going up in price, yet we're going back on the market after some major repairs. 517 Lizzie Street. We did have a contract recently and it fell out this morning. This is a porch and redid that and then re-leveled the home. We increased the price by all of $5,000, so it's $180,000.
Wow. Good deal. All right. So our sponsors are going to come on in. Welcome in, ladies. You're good. Oh, yeah. Sorry. It's a slow. Surprise.
So we're with Wilshire Homes. We do pay 4% commission on all inventory, started or completed. And we reimburse up to 33% of relocation fees if you have those, so it doesn't have to come out of your commission. I am in Paloma Lake in Round Rock, and we are almost going to close out. We have about 26 lots left. Our tax rate is 2.54 on our 55 and 70 foot products, and then it's 2.75 on our 65-foot product. It's an exemplary elementary school, Round Rock ISD, is in the community.